or I think it's funny. Okay, um, a couple of things. Here's a couple of things, guys. We're gonna go. Why do we have electrical contractors? What type? Why electrical contractors exist? And we'll make. I always make fun of it to make money. Thank you. And I always say we're not sharing and caring hands. Not like I don't believe in sharing and caring hands. I am a firm believer of that. Helping, supporting others. But we're not sharing and caring hands when it comes to business. We are in the business to make money and make a living for all of us. Why many electrical contractors are unsuccessful based on our Uncle Mike's opinion. You might agree, you might disagree with him when you see what he thinks. We're going to discover why some electrical contractors are unsuccessful. And a very, very good example is sitting right next to you right here, DJ, for example. Why, why isn't he running his electrical contracting business? Sorry, DJ, I have to say that.
Dude, you should get some Kleenex because you're bleeding because you just kind of got tackled.
We're going to discover why. And why an estimating is required to create a job budget. Duh. I mean, you can't create a job budget without having dollar value. How are you going to get a dollar value for a project if you don't do a takeoff and estimating and laboring and so forth? So these are a few things, guys, I thought summarized in a very nice way. Impacted by who's competing against you. How is your success, guys? How is your, as a contractor, how is your success is impacted by who's competing against you? Number one, who's competing against you? Are you Parcel Electric, Hunt Electric, Egan, or is DJ or CA Electric competing against you? One-man shop versus huge shops, right? Or big shops. And productivity, are you hiring? DJ, I'm going to pick on you a little bit today. Are you hiring people like DJ who are really hardworking, or are you hiring people like Holly who is kind of barely moving it? So, management skills. Are you putting in the management skills somebody like my friend Spencer here, who is really good with management, or someone like Brad, who just if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, who cares? Type of attitude. Overhead and risk. How many secretaries do you have in the office doing all the work for you, and how many project managers who are unproductive you have in your company? That will impact the bottom line, guys. Unreal. The minute labor is as we all know, labor is very expensive, either skilled labor or management labor. So that's a big deal. And that's my favorite is, are you willing to take risk? If you want to make money, you have to take risk. But taking risk, like everything else in life, the more risk you take, the more likelihood they're going to go down. Right down the hole. The less risk that you have, the less likelihood. But if you want to break through, you always have to take risk. So there's a few things that help you manage risk, and how big of a risk you take and so forth. That's going to impact definitely. Are you going to be successful, or are you going to be like Chad Curry, stuck with a one-man shop for the rest of your life? What's the success? What do you define success? The other thing is, how do you define success? As an electrical contractor, being the number one electrical contractor in the nation, that's success, right? Or being the number one electrical contractor in Minnesota, that's success. Or being number one electrical contractor in Bloomington, see how they will go to the success. Or you being the number one electrical contractor in your neighborhood, or in your head. So that's different types of success, guys, from your head into your neighborhood, into the state, into the nation. Electrical industry, you know your friend Chad, he in Hannah, Montana, right? Everybody know Hannah, Montana. Electrical industry, guys, is in a constant change, completely a constant change. And if you are not with it, if you're not a person that long life learning, you put in your mind, Mr. Buddha, that you are going to be learning for the rest of your life, literally the rest of your life, then you're not. That's going to impact again your success. Definitely is going to impact your success if you think, well, I studied 2006 code. Well, I know 2006 code. Well, I really did it. 2005 or 1996 code. I really know it inside out. But yeah, we moved 4 or 5 cycles since that one. So these are things, guys, common sense. But I thought Mr. Holtz put it in a really nice format. This is what I like, guys. A great job of electrical work. Electrical work is estimating awarded to contractors who has the best perceived price, but not necessarily the lowest. A lot of people disagree in this market, guys. I've been talking to a few contractors and even Dave from CA Electric. If you're a small job contractor right now, you're really screwed up. They come with service, changing a service. We used to, for 100 amp, we used to charge $1,500 for changing service. And now people will walk in and do it for $600. Changing a service for you, really, a one-man shop. Yeah, $600. Dave told me that a contractor, not just an average Joe, licensed, bonded contractor, change a service for $600, including pulling the conductors, changing a service is no mass, just putting new conductors, taking a 60 amp panels out, fuse panels, putting a 100 amp panel in, changing the conductors, and remapping all the circuits. $600. Usually it takes a good skilled person like DJ. How long will it take you, DJ?
2 people, 5 hours.
2 people, 5 hours? Okay.
The whole service.
The whole service with the mass, just if you don't change the pipe at the top, probably I would say for one person, within 4 hours you could change it. I've done that without changing the pipe, because changing the pipe is really pain. Rigid, you have to have rigid. If you don't have to change the pipe, just changing the wire in the pipe, and just changing inside, you take the panel out, put a new panel within 4 hours. So he made money. If he did it himself, divide 60. Do you have a calculator, Brad? Divide 60 by 40 hours. 4 hours.
600 by 4?
Yeah, 600 by
Probably at 150.
150. Well, material, we forgot the material. Say 150 material. So say 200 material. 400 divided by 4 hours, I'll give you $100 an hour. So he made $100 an hour that day. Still made no overhead, nothing. He's running his shop from his basement. So they still make money. So my point is, what's the bottom, guys? The bottom is, if you're a one-man shop, that's why a lot of union contractors cannot compete with one-man shop. They can. I mean, who's going to compete? If I'm a Parks Electric with all the personnels in my office, how am I going to compete with somebody like this guy who has zero overhead, zero profit, and he's willing to pay for? If he makes a lot of small contractors, if you make a lot of people, if I make $40 and $40 for myself as a small contractor, $40 and pay also all the expenses, just $40 to me. A lot of people consider this is great. I mean, I'm paid $40 an hour. You know what I mean? So, but these are the things in a major projects. We're not talking about small projects. Major projects like the stadium and all this stuff. It's really. I'm going to switch track here. We bring Dave Karski from Parks and Electric here, guys, and he always tells you most of the jobs are given to people who are. It's not just because you're lowest price. Now we're talking about hospitals, sport arenas, and all this stuff. It's about the reputation. If you have a good reputation in the market, you are a man or a woman of your word as an electrical contractor. When you say, I can send 5 crews today, 5 crews will move to the place today, and you move the other trades with you. You don't hold people. If you are a person known as electrical contractor, your price, of course, you can't charge any price. If your price is reasonably, if your bid is reasonably priced, you will get the job. So that's where perceived. It doesn't have to be the lowest. It has to be, at least it has to be fair. There's a couple of words that they use, guys. Estimating versus bidding. There are 2. Let me just put these one. Uncle Mike divided the estimating / bidding into 2 things. You don't have to agree with this. You can lump sum them in one. Really, this is his opinion. It says the first component is estimating to determine the cost of the project. In 2 words, guys, estimating is how much it's going to cost you. In plain English, estimating how much it's going to cost you, including all over your overhead and everything. How much it's going to cost you. Bidding is how much are you willing to sell it to the owner. To build this project, including overhead, including everything for me, it's going to be, say, $2,000. Then that's my cost after I paid everything. Then I'm going to bid this project. I know it's going to cost me $100,000. Add a little bit of profit on it, so I'm going to add $10,000 profits. When I bid my job, it becomes 110. I send my bid to do your job for 110. Estimating is how much it's going to cost you. Remember, including labor, material, management, everything. Then bidding is the same thing. Your cost plus what, bro? Plus the profit. The profit. Does that make sense? Common sense? No, nothing. So the second component is setting the price, which is the bidding. selling the price to the owner. So I'm gonna do your basement for you for $2,000. It's gonna cost me labor and material, say $1,800, but I'm gonna bid it for $2,000. So after I paid my salary and paid all my employees and paid everything else, I still have $200 that can go to the owners of the company or to me if I'm the owner of the company. Does that make sense, Brad? I mean, DJ? So that's good estimating systems. A couple of things about good estimating systems. If you have a good estimating, guys, you can't believe how you go from a one-man shop where they can estimate it. Okay, I come fix things for you. You're going to build a house or wire a basement, walk around. It's going to cost you $1,400. From just walking around and calculating how many openings and multiplying it by your figure number, come up with 1,800 number. That's one. All the way into 100,000 square foot hospital that you need to do. Do you think I can walk in and meet at McDonald's with the owner or the developer or the architects at a restaurant and do the estimating for $100,000 square foot hospital? Believe it or not, if you ask this question for some major electrical contractors who do hospital, they will tell you yes. Why? Because they build 15 trillion other hospitals. With the guys, and I always use Dave because he comes here a lot. Do you know what they do, the major contractors? They keep track of the history of their work. So we built this hospital 2 years ago and it cost us labor and material $2 million. Now, okay, that's 2 years ago. Now let's look at the inflation, a couple of factors. Let's inflate by 5%. The price went up based on what 10%. Let's put our price up 10% on material, inflate 5%, and they do a couple of percentage on the value, and they come up with, we did it $2 million 2 years ago. Then this year we might be able to do it for $2.2 million. And without even getting into the details, then when they get the job, they send it back to Brad and everybody else in the field to do an actual takeoff on the project. And the reason why they do actual takeoff, because you need the labor and the material. You need to manage the project. You can't manage the project if you don't know how many conduits you need for the project, how many personnel you need, crews, electricians, different levels of electricians in the area. So that's what the process of estimating give you two things: the material, detailed info about material, and detailed info about labor. So that's but major things, as I said, they can do project high level project manager. They can do it on a sitting, a rough estimate for the owners. Okay, but if you are to do the detailed one, guys, your system has to be obviously quick, accurate, determine the cost of the job, including any anticipated cost. Cover is going to go up. Have you accommodated, like when you build the project, you bid it today, but you're building it next year? Have you taken into consideration 5% increase in cover from your historic data that you collected for the last 5 years? Yes, sir.
So when you go from a rough estimate to detailed estimate, do you start getting any money?
You mean getting any money? What do you mean getting
Well, like,
money?
I mean, if you give them a rough estimate, it's gonna cost you $1,000 or $100,000, and then they say, okay, we're gonna go with you, then you give them a detailed estimate?
You don't give it to them. You detailed estimate for you.
Oh.
So if you have a hospital and you want to know how many 3/4 of an inch and half an inch you're going to use in stage 1, how would you know how many 3/4 of an inch EMT and half an inch EMT and MC cable and AC cable you need for stage 1, 2, 3, or 4 of this management part of it? So detailed estimating will get you these details. We say when you finish this first 2 stories of the building, you need this much of EMTs, this much of devices, this much of lights. So you feed this into the project manager, and the project manager starts purchasing all this material instead of buying all of them at once and store them in a place where they can be lost or stolen. Or you can buy your material gradually, shift them to the job site gradually, because you have an idea, a rough idea. It's not exact idea. It goes, all what we do is an estimate. This is not facts, but a rough idea how many pieces of equipment and devices you need for every stage of the project, and labor. How are you going to call the 292 and ask for more electricians if you're in a shop? You need to have an idea how many electricians you need. How would you know? Your project, your estimating is going to give you this detailed info. Should. So yeah, that's a nice thing about estimation, guys. Estimation is not just to give you a value. Here's the value. The most people think of it a value. Here's a $2.5 million, and you send it in a bid proposal, sign it, they accept it, you got the job. That's one thing. Managing the project is a whole different thing. To manage a project 2.5 million, you need detailed information about every stage of the project, labor and material. So that estimation will help you with that. Estimation will completely help you with that. If you have an estimating system, if you are like Ben, can I click on you today?
No.
No, okay.
Go ahead.
Or yes or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, if you're I need to if you're doing estimating, guys, you better have a calculator that you know how to use. Sorry, Ben. That was bad.
That was a good one.
That was-
Let's talk about it.
So that you know how to use, not I know how to use, not your wife knows how to use it. You better know how to use a calculator. You can't believe how many people really, especially electricians, they grab a scientific calculator, they have no idea how to use it, and then they start using it wrong, so your number is wrong. Okay, system that you use have to be efficient, accurate, and attempt to prevent common mistakes. Attempt to prevent how do I prevent common mistakes in any machine, guys? Training, training, training. This, I told you how many, Chad, I'm in love with this calculator. How much I love this calculator. This is worthless if you don't know how to use it. It will give you the wrong answer. You push the wrong button, you got the wrong answer. So you have to spend the 4 hours understanding it. 4 hours understanding it, then it becomes very efficient, you know. So these are a few things about estimating, my friends. Method verify, you have whatever method you guys have to verify that the estimate is accurate. Whatever method you use for detailed estimating, it has to have a way of verifying that you're accurate. For example, after you do all your takeoff, a lot of softwares, guys, have two values. They take percentage of, what's the percentage of labors from your overall price? Your labor is 15%, 50%, then you go to the material. What's the percentage of your material from overall cost of the project? Why? Because Brad, your project manager, you look at the project after DJ took the project, gave it to you as a project manager, you look at it, and you look at these values, percentage. A lot of people look at the percentage, guys, and say, wow, our labor this time is 63%, and every project that we have done similar to this project was 25% labor. What happened? It's not like you made a mistake. No, why? Why is that major difference between them? Flag. Or labor, or material. Our material has always been 35, and this time our material is 55. Are we buying generators? What's new in this project that wasn't in other projects that we did? Compare it to the history. Square foot value. Every hospital that we did cost us $25 an hour, $25 per square foot. And this hospital is costing us 35, right? And that's as easy as taking your price and dividing it by what? Square foot of the building. These are flags for a project manager, guys. Flags. Not doesn't mean you did something wrong, but we need the project manager will pull you if you're the estimator. If he's not the estimator, will pull you and discuss it with you. Why? What happened? What's new in the material or the labor, or so forth. So, does that make sense? A method to verify that we have that we haven't missed anything. Why are we in business? Why are we in business?
Make
Groups.
money.
We're not sharing and carrying hands. Taxes from our money goes and pays for sharing and carrying hands, and we donate for our churches and worship places for sharing and carrying hands. And if you are a tree hugger, you give more. But we are, when it comes to business, we are to make profit. We are in it to make a living and make a profit. So, but we all agree on that one. We are in it to make a profit. In the process of making profit, making a living, making a difference, building the nation and the country and all this political speech, in the profit, here's what you need to do. You need to provide, to make this, you need to provide quality service to your customers at a competitive price that is greater than your cost. That's greater than your cost. That's how you make a profit. You have to provide a quality work. If you're sloppy and if halfway through you quit on them, or you're supposed to bring 2 crews and you brought 1 crew and now everybody's behind in the project because of you and your management style, that's not quality project. Drop it. And to your customers at a competitive price. If your quality is extremely high that nobody can afford it, I mean, I'm sorry, but bottom line, we have to kind of find the balance between quality and price. Quality and price. You have to. You can't be too expensive for your quality. Competitive price. And that competitive price have to keep you in business, Brad. You have to stay in business. If your competitive price is lower than your cost, you're not going to stay floating for a long time. We call it floating. you float for a while, but if it continues every time you bid the project below it, your cost is higher than your expenses, you're not going to stay in business for a long time. So I can't emphasize, guys, the quality, competitive, and greater than your cost. Very, very important. If you are going to be, and this type of work, guys, goes from a one-man shop all the way to 1,000 man or women. I'm sorry, man or woman shop. You know, it's the same values. You have to have quality, competitive, that keeps you staying in business. Any questions about that? Common sense, right? No, more or less. Okay, why are many electrical contractors unsuccessful based on my friend Mr. Holt? Because if you guys read through Holt's things, and which is true to some extent, most electrical contractors started as an apprentice, went through either union apprenticeship, organized labor apprenticeship, or non-organized labor apprenticeship, or their grandpa or dad taught them how to do it. They moved from being hands-on guys into managing a company without any expertise. A very good example is my friend DJ here, without any expertise in managing a project or estimating a project. And you learn on the fly, I guess, and you learn from your mistakes. But if the bottom line is they don't have training. That's what which is true, and that's why a lot of contractors, guys, when MEA and 292 and NICA put all these classes for training, the first thing that come to our classes when we do is electrical contractors. Nobody wants to be left behind. Nobody wants to be left behind, you know, with the new knowledge coming to the market. So they have plenty of experience in hands-on, lack of management skills and estimating skills. Lack of management skills and estimating skills. We put classes like this, yeah. We put classes like this for small electrical contractors. Major electrical contractors, guys, they have their own training classes that they put for their employees to, like if you work for Parson Electric and you start as a drafter, you're going to move into an estimator. They will train you, put you under the wing of a good estimator trainer, and they groom you with a lot of expertise and so forth to run your project and be an estimator. You can't just jump in one day and say, okay, I want to estimate a $2 million job. You know, you can, but you're going to lose. Okay, must provide information to project management. That's what guys, it's not enough just to say, well, it's going to cost me $2 million. I need detailed info, labor and material to feed it into the management. If I'm not the manager, most of estimators / managers, guys, a lot of people estimate and manage their own jobs. But if you go to a major company, an estimator will be a team of estimating, and a manager will be a completely different guy. So you have 2 people, 3 people working the estimate, they give it to you as a project manager, you run with it. So we need to feed information to management, to the project management. So this is the information that we need to do. The actual cost of the project, significantly impacted by how well the job is managed. This is just justifying why do we need to provide information to the management. If you don't manage the project, guys, if you estimate it really good and you don't manage it good, what's going to happen? I need 2 crews in this project. I bring 3. 2 of them go, and especially if they are. Did I say that? Now why are we going back? Especially if they're electricians from Bloomington. I'm gonna pick. Why do you pick on that? So if so, my point is, guys, 3 crews, 2 crews doing the work, and the other crew is sleeping. It doesn't have to be union or non-union, really. So you have 5 people when the job is really need 2. You know, so that can impact what's the package right now is 50. So you have a $53. Multiply this by 5. Multiply this by say 8 hour day, and that will get you how much money you're paying. You're paying for this as an electrical contractor union 50. Is it 53 or 63? I think it's.
They did that when I worked on the children's hospital.
Well, let's just say 53 times 5 times 8. That's how much are you paying for an 5 electricians? If they're not productive, you're in trouble. You're
They
completely
did
in
that
trouble.
when I worked at the children's hospital for Hunt. They put up a thing in our trailer that says
Yeah.
this is how much you make, or this is how much it costs per week. You kind of go, wow.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It makes you think that.
Absolutely, it makes you think a lot. What's the math on that one, guys? So you have 53 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 5, 2120, right? 2120. 2,120 for 5 people. That's in one day. You're paying for those 5. So, I mean, if they're not productive, you're in trouble. Your conduit sitting there, they're not. When you have material, guys, the minute that you buy it stock, you're stuck with it. You don't pay more for it, for the most part. But the electricians, if they're sitting there and talking about the bar fight last weekend, when they were supposed to bending conduits and pulling wires, that's a big deal. So I'm not going to convince you guys that proper estimating is a big deal. Okay, probably manage job. The price manager must have a job budget. Let me just erase that one. So why do we need, in order to manage the project, guys, you have to feed the price into the management so they can create a budget, a job budget. What's a job budget? Every week is going to cost me to run this project, labor and material, say $5,000. If I do my math like they did, and it's costing me $6,000, I know week by week I'm going down the drain. It's not, I don't have to wait until the end of the project to know, oh, we're $2 million in the hole or $1 million in the hole. If you manage your projects right, you know week by week, are you make, or even less than that if you want to, at least week by week, are you on track? Meaning time-wise and budget-wise, are we on track? And you keep track of your budget week by week. Why week by week? Because if you made a mistake in a week, you can change it the second week. You can't wait for 2 years until the project is done and say, oh yeah, by the way, now we are $500,000 in the hole. There's nothing you can do about it, can you? After fact. So that information is very, very important, guys, for the project management. The job material. Also, the budget will have information about the materials required and the labor required for every phase. Very important, every phase of a job. Every time when you manage a project, you need to know what's the material needed, how many people, and for what stage. I can't just bring all the conduit that God created, put them in one corner, get stolen, get lost, right, misplaced. And I can't bring more crews than I need, and then they sit and talk about bar fights, like DJ. Go ahead, DJ.
Will they, like, if you're buying, like, 3 pallets of half-inch EMT or 3, big lots of it or whatever, will they give you the same pricing and ship it in pieces through, like, JH?
Taking advantage of bulk, they call it. That is a good advantage. There's a difference, guys, between buying in bulk to get advantage of the sum or the volume and shipping it to the site. That's a whole different story. You have your store, you have your warehouse where you can buy, as a good contractor, you'll have your own warehouse. You buy stuff, stock it, but you don't want to stock too much too. You stock it for the project and then you deliver it to the site as needed.
Yeah, you don't want all that stuff hanging around.
Yeah.
You're tripping over it, you're moving it.
Yeah, you don't want, you ship it. There's nothing wrong if you have a warehouse of having tons of stuff in your warehouse, except the inventory, you don't want it to sit too long because you pay for it, but you ship it to the site as needed. Not less though. You don't want the people to sit there, wait for a 3/4 of an inch conduit. Yes, sir. Did you forget?
Oh, yeah. Holt says it's more expensive to pick it up at the desk than delivered. You see that being the case? I'd always thought
More
it would factor in drive time, windshield hours.
to pick it up on the desk than to deliver. You know why?
Yeah.
I've done that.
would
Do you
think-
tell them what they do?
I would think it would be cheaper to have it delivered.
Yeah, you tell them why though. Tell them why. You know why? Because I've done it. Number one, number two. You know what? If you go to Vikings and those guys, they have popcorn, they have coffee. Have you been there? And they have donuts for you. Now you send somebody like DJ now, who can distract a Russian army. You send him, sorry DJ, you send him to Vikings and with donuts and popcorn and everything. You think he's gonna come back on time?
And stuff to look at.
Yeah, just sit and look at tools, so I could sit there for hours.
And I've seen him, guys. It's a waste of time. When you send a $53 an hour electrician, you don't want to send them. A delivery guy, they're paying him $10 to deliver it. You know what I mean? Versus
I thought it just was material costs alone. I didn't think about
who's the laborer's gonna go get it? Yeah.
reserving an electrician.
Yes.
Then you get a go for it.
You get a,
Run for
so you
you.
can run before you get a shop.
Could they bring us popcorn?
So that's kind of factoring the
I
human.
love going to a supply house.
A lot of people do that.
It's fun.
If you go there, if
Yeah,
you're,
but-
yeah, but you
If you
can,
get paid to go, that's the best job you can get.
yeah, so you go there and chat and yak and look at
Yeah.
the tools and
Running with
wasted
friends.
is $53 gone. Or if you're a non-union electrician and with benefits, probably you're paid $35. You know, here's a $35 gone. I mean, you wasted and time traveling. Do you really want a $53 person driving a car in a traffic jam here versus a $10 guy, a delivery guy? You pay him $10. So that's the idea. Does it make sense, Spencer?
Definitely, but if we look at just from material costs. then
A lot of contractors.
it's,
A lot of contractor will deliver it for free if you
Yeah.
buy with them, free. You know what? If you lock with it,
Gauge for
yeah,
free.
they deliver it free for you. You know what? If you lock as an electrical contractor, if you lock your buying with a vendor, you can make him a lot of money. So that's why you come from us, and we'll deliver anywhere free. You know what I mean? Business for them.
And if
So
you get it on like morning truck, you usually have your stuff by 8 in the morning.
yeah, they deliver it at any time to you.
Yeah, they're early, yeah. Yeah, they'll even speedy deliver stuff if they mess up on the order too. like
Absolutely.
through GH, you know.
Guys, they're vendors and wholesalers are in the business like us. Customer service. If you're sitting, your electrician is sitting there, and you can count on if you made a mistake as a project manager, and you can call Vikings, Gray Bar, and you tell them, you know what, I need conduit within this time, and they'll send it to you. They save you money, and in return, you will call the same project manager of Viking next time because he saved your bottom when you made a mistake. So there's kind of a that relationship that you develop with certain vendors, and they're willing to do a lot of stuff for you. They really are. I mean, that's the best business, guys. When you run a business, yeah, you're gonna look at for the lowest price and all this stuff, but relationship, human relationship. If I can't count on Brad, if I made a mistake as a project manager and I am down with my EMT conduit or wires, and my electricians are sitting there $53 an hour, each one of them sitting waiting, can count on you as another project manager with Vikings, and that you can within an hour you drop the material for me. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. A big deal. Relationship.
I
Relationship.
bring my Jeremy and Jerry Larson, I bring them like caribou all the time. I get 3% over cost at there.
And
That's better than Kilmer Electric is,
absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely. Another thing is project management often is the difference between profit or loss. Very, very important. The way you manage your project can make an impact. Are you 5% plus in this project or minus in this project? Are you 5% plus or 5% minus in this project? Plus profit, minus loss. The way you manage your project. Impacted by these guys, it's going to be impacted by effective project planning. I'm not going to tell you. I mean, if you effective project planning, knowing where your project is located, what the rate. You're electricians. If you're a non-union electrician, guys, or you're an electrician, you know how good your electricians are. Can you depend on them? That relationship you develop as a project manager with the crews that working for you, with the foreman, and you can kind of, if you're behind, a lot of guys, it's a human being. It's really a human being dealing with a human being. If you're behind and you can count on your electricians to push themselves harder to get you ahead as a project manager, great. Then next time you can buy them a lot of stuff. You know, if you're ahead and you're on budget and you can let them go the rest of the day. You know, there's a lot of people develop this human being relationship where you as an electrician carrying the tools and me as a project manager are partner in making this project succeed. This is the best management style. When it comes to union shops, you know, you can develop that. There's a lot of Parson and Hunt. They develop, guys, this relationship between between the project manager and the foreman, and the foreman also develop it with the people who are carrying the tools, where you know they can go faster, slower to keep you on track for the budget. Or if you guys finish it in 2 days, we'll throw $200 for each one of you. You give them incentive to work harder. We're a human being. Look at the DJ. If I tell him you get 5 points if you stay here half an hour, he'll stay probably 2 hours and done with it. Right, DJ? Incentives. A human being. The human being factor. Effective planning. A couple of things. Labor scheduling. I'm not going to tell you guys. The worst thing that could happen is you send more labor than what you need or less labor than what you need. Worse. This labor, if you need to pull a feeder and you only have one person there and you need 2 people to pull that feeder, how are you going to do your work? How are you going to do your work? Or if you more people, if you need 3 people and you send 4, what do you think that 4th guy is going to be doing? What do you do, DJ? If you're drinking coffee and just actually distracting the others. Distracting the others. Like material purchasing is another big deal, guys. Developing this relationship with the vendors and getting you material on time, on track. Um, Obviously, all these factors will determine the ultimate cost of your project. So as you can see, guys, estimating and bidding as part of a bigger picture of managing the whole project. That's what I want you to see it. You cannot just say, well, I'm getting a bid it and estimate it, and I don't care what happened after that. You're estimating and bidding. It's going to feed into the project management, which feed into scheduling, which feed into eventually lead into loss or gain in this project. Loss or gain in this project. Any question, guys? Muhammad, my friend? No? Did you get your donut? No donuts? You can see that these are common sense, guys, but unreal. We talked about, guys, competitive. In order, can I be competitive? You can be competitive if you must offer the customers quality at a reasonable price. If your price is not reasonable, everybody claims they have quality, guys. Now no electrical contractor wants to be seen as not providing electrical quality for their customers. This is a no. Imagine wiring an air handling unit. What they do, guys, with the construction, a lot of contractors, when they walk in, Hunt and Egan and Parson, when they build the building, you know what in the back of their mind, when they're done, they want to develop relationship with the owner of the building so they can have a maintenance contract with them forever. Remember, these systems have to be maintained for years to come. For years to come. So that the good project manager, a good electrical contractor, when they develop good relationship, working relationship with the owner, so we can get the maintenance contract from this building forever. That's a lot of money, coming money for you. And now if you're a jerk as a project manager, if the owner made a mistake, guys, and there's a conduit like this one, and he said, you know, they put it here, and the owner came and changed their mind, they want to put it there, and you pick on it every time, and make the owners usually don't have no idea what the electrical system is. They make mistakes. If the owner believes that you're a partner with them, if they made a mistake, no problem. It's not gotcha type. Now I'm gonna charge you an arm and leg for it. And you develop this really nice relationship, you get a contract for maintenance forever on this building. That's good money for you. So that's kind of in the back of a lot of project managers' mind when they walk into building a hospital or building a building. Who's going to be maintaining this system? And who's better, Mr. View, who's better than you who installed this switch gear to maintain it? You know exactly how this sucker is. You as an electrical contractor, you know how the cables are going. You know the size of the conduits. You did it. So that's what I call equality. So electrical contractors must control the cost within the budget. And with the reasonable price, guys, and quality, you always, bottom line is, you don't want to also go in the hole. You don't want to go in the hole with all this stuff that you do. Also, electrical contractors control overhead. We'll talk a lot about overhead, guys. Overhead is overhead expenses. You have to keep it to the minimum. Overhead is defined, people define it differently, but for the most part, overhead in electrical field is anyone who does not carry the tools. So subcontractor compare. That's it. You don't carry the tool, you're an overhead. Now, as a project manager managing a project, some people shift it as an overhead, or some people, because you're there with the contractor, you are considered like carrying the tool. You're part of the project. Now, faxes and people who are working in the office and all this good stuff could be considered overhead. You want to minimize your overhead. Minimize your overhead.
Like phones.
The phone. You know what we did? Even some contractor even charge this to the project. So when they do make copies, when they're doing the estimating and making copies, they charge it to the project. They have a project number and they charge everything to the project. Engineering firms do it all the time. You know, if you make a fax, it worked in a firm. If you fax something, you charge to the project number that you're working on. Everything is charged to that project. Then by doing that, there's no overhead. Nobody's sitting there overhead, you know. So the best thing, guys, obviously, is to have to minimize your overhead. To the minimum. A couple of things will affect the contractors, guys. Competitive include. Let's look at a couple of nice lists. That competition. Who's competing against you is a big deal. if you're gonna take this job or not right now. If you go to apply for a job, how many contractors do you think are gonna be bidding? Tons of other contractors. So who's competing against you? Do you have a chance? DJ, have you ever wired the gas stations? Class 1 Div 1 locations? Do you have a chance to go bid a gas station in this market right now? You think you have a chance making it? Another thing is, guys, uh, now putting my engineering hat, we get a lot of bids and we accepted bids as engineers with LV Beckett. We used to disqualify people from even bidding on the project, disqualify you. So a couple of the way we disqualify you without being seen as we discriminate against you is we say, well, if you want bidding on a hospital, give me your resume as a company. Show me in the last, how many hospitals have you built in the last 5 years? Well, if DJ, how many hospitals have you built in the last 5 years?
Only 3.
Only 3? Okay. Then you can't. If your resume says, guys, you haven't built any hospital in the last 5 years or 10 years, then we don't want you to bid in this job. You're not qualified. So by doing that, they minimize the amount of wannabe electricians building hospitals and sport arenas and so forth from jumping in and halfway through they discover that they're $2 million in the hole, and guess what? They pull out of the project and they file bankruptcy. And then, remember what's going to happen to your project? Screwed up. That's the whole idea, is because these guys, they pull you discover halfway through that you are in the hole. What do? Pull out of the project. So they screw your project. Cost of material. Here's somebody says something. Offer different prices for different contractors. You're right. You just said that suppliers, guys, you can contract, you know them. They can get you different prices for different contractors based on negotiation. That's something you develop it through your relationship. That's a big deal. And a couple of things, getting the best price, shop around to an extent. It's not all about, guys, bidding. Here's what people don't like. They don't like cheap people. Like Chad will say, well, what's your switch gear? 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. When you go 2,000, go shop around. They don't like this shopping around, and they put mechanism in to make you not being able to shop around. Actually, the contractor, by giving you, especially about switch gear, they give you their price when you go about switch gear the last minute, so you don't have enough time to go shop around. Prevent you from shopping around. Pay your bills. Now, doesn't that count for everything in life? Pay your bills on time. Why? Because you have interest on them. Interest, what does interest mean? It's cutting down from your profit or increasing your losses. And here's, you said that one, right, DJ? Take advantage of 2% discount or whatever. Some vendors can give you discounts on the project that you're working, discount to the material if you lock with them. Experience, that's my favorite. Experience, my friend, let's go back again. Have the experience you have to have. And if you guys read through it, it says hire well-trained, skilled, motivated electricians, and you're going to get a good job, versus hire less trained, less motivation. Motivation is a big deal. How can I motivate Mr. Bew to work harder for me? When I have a profit, throw $200 at them. There's electrical contractors, guys, that throw a truck at the project manager. Say, if you made us $2 million this year, we buy you a truck. And you around town, they'll buy you a truck. And now, how would a project manager make money? If I don't carry the tool as a project manager, you carry the tools, or somebody else will carry the tool. Now, because if I want to succeed and exceed the budget, get below my point is get below the budget and make more money for the company and get in the process, get some benefit myself. You have to share it. How do you share it? Go to the electricians who are doing the work, give them incentives. Incentive could be, guys, a lunch for everybody on a Friday. Leave them early. You know, it's a big deal. We're human beings. Spencer, you're working hard, and look at those sucker management making all this money. And one day the project manager came and said, today is Friday afternoon at noon. Why don't you go take care of your business, Spencer? That means a lot to me if somebody tells me that. It means a lot. He cares about my family. It's Friday afternoon, right? And he allowed me to go take care of my family. These are the human values. There is no value in it. Personally, I believe it. And if you want to be successful, if you're a jerk manager and you're just trying to squeeze them, Holly, how many ways you can screw up a project? You want to share with that as or DJ? Maybe we share. How many ways you can, as an electrician, can you screw up things without the managers even know about it? There's so many ways, guys. So many ways you can slow down yourself and not be productive and so forth. You need to be part of it. If the project succeed, I want this to be reflected on me too. And this is what we're just saying, guys. Pay, and you have to pay them. Pay top dollars, get highly skilled, unlike Ben, motivated, unlike Chad, and the educated and trained electricians. Educated and trained. Now you go, 2011 is coming, guys. If your electricians don't know, for example, let me tell you one exception right now. Tamper resistance. Tamper resistance, it used to be in 2008 everywhere. Now there's exceptions. If you have dedicated receptacles for garbage disposal and any dedicated receptacle for equipment, fixed in place, exceptions. That saved you what, 33 cents versus a $1.50? We were doing a $1.50?
66 cents, remember?
Yeah, 66 cents.
Yeah.
So, so these are the things that will impact you, knowledge, skills. Or you go buy mediocres, and then you have a lot of loss of productivity, mistakes, violation, code violation,
Union.
code code violation, increased supervision.
They make
because
you learn that stuff.
because Eric, when the project manager moves away, what do? You just get the heck out of there. You know, the project manager or the foreman is out, you go nap under a chair or something. So that's labor.
They know.
Management skills.
They know.
Yeah, that's
They
it.
know. They know if you can do it when they're not there.
So management skills. Manage the job according to the estimates. You're not likely to, if you don't, you're not likely, obviously, to make profit. If you don't manage it according to the estimate, you're not likely to make profit. So managing is a big deal, guys. Managing means two things. Two things: labor, material. Bring labor, material, and manage them. And motivation, human being motivation. Any question, guys? Overhead. Any question? A couple of other things for overhead. Overhead, you're going to make, I don't know if I agree with that one. This is what you want to maintain it between 20% and 40%. A lot of small contractors, their overhead, guys, is what? Big, fat, zero. Nothing. You know, they do it. If they're charging, we charge $98 for service calls. If you call, but just one electrician with a truck move to you, 1 hour, $98 for service calls.
What would you do if you had to send two?
You don't send two. Why do you need two for a service call? Unless unless you know what the service call is and need two men,
Yeah.
that's a different story. Then you charge. Then you charge them. I charge for two. If I need two,
Two at 98?
at 98.
Oh, okay.
If I need two. But most of service calls, small service calls, guys. I'm not talking about major. Yeah. You need four men, you charge them what your rate is.
98 a guy.
98, that a lot of people have different. I know goes from 63 all the way up. Certain contractors, guys, just to get their job there, they charge 50. Just want to get the job. You know what I mean? When you bid, you now when you bid it lower than that. Non-union electricians, you can bid it between 50 and 63 bid to get the job. One man shop. Other people, man, the rule of thumb, guys, bidding, if you have, what was it, 50, did we say $53? If I'm to bid you are working for me and I'm going to bid your work, I bid it by two. Rule of thumb, if you're working for me, major electrical contractor, I want to make money. If I'm paying you $53, I need you to work 1 hour for you and 1 hour for me, for the company. Rule of thumb. Some people cut it down, guys, to 1.5, but that's kind of rule of thumb. How much are you paying your labor? Double it. Rule of thumb. Rule of thumb. Plus the material. Don't forget about material. Material is not here. Rule of thumb. If my electricians, non-union electricians, I'm paying him with benefit, say $35 an hour, $35 an hour, small shop, I'm going to double it. Two, I bid my job at $70. Bid my job at $70. A man hour or a woman, electrician hour. And plus what? Plus the material. Don't forget the material. Don't forget the material. Selling the job at your price. The whole idea, guys, is we keep repeating the reasonable price, excellent job, reasonable price, and quality. You have to have quality. You have to sell it. You have to have quality work at reasonable price. Market industry is in a constant change. that's, I'm going to give you guys a break in a second here. Talking about market, guys, in this market, a lot of, like a good market right now is maintenance for electrical contractors. Good market maintenance. So these contractors who have developed the relationship between them and other buildings, their electricians are busy doing maintenance because the construction is down. Um, Tracking market, what's the hot potato at this time? Wind energy was a hot potato. Solar energy was a hot potato. If you're an electrical contractor, you have no expertise in solar or wind, that would be a great idea to go train your people and get some training on how to install, run, and manage project with renewable energy. So technology, anything they when they came up, guys, with in 2008, double-ended fluorescent light like this need a disconnect switch by code. So then the electrical contractor start, instead of you installing a switch, a disconnect next to each one of them or multiple of them, the contractor, this snap switch right inside the fixture. Now, if you don't know as an electrical contractor that you can buy this feature and save you putting a switch next to the fixture, that's about chasing technology. Here's a new technology that can help you as an electrical contractor not to install an extra receptacle like this with an extra conduit and wire. So I'm not going to tell you how important knowing technology and what's in it for your company. And I like this one, guys. Always consider every estimate, and instead of going when you don't get the estimate, DJ, and you're going and you're so mad, and you go to the cafe and you start drinking coffee because I don't know you don't drink other things. Always think of it as an opportunity to monitor the market direction. A lot of contractors, guys, when they lose the bid, they take it back and they go back, what have we done wrong? And of course, the price of the bid is going to be public. So they see, I lost the bid, you guys 2 million, I did 2.1 million, you got it, I lost it. I know that. Now my question would be, why can you as a union shop and I as a union shop bid for the same job and you can do it $0.1 million less than I can? So that's the question that a lot of people come back and start asking, what are we doing wrong? So monitoring the market, seeing what's hot, what's not on that one. So that's basically it, guys. Any question? This is just review meeting. Why are we in business? Why are we in business? Electrical business, Ben? To make
money.
Make money. Thank you. Now I taught you something. Why the electrical contractors are not successful, DJ? Because they're like you. They came from the trenches. No, because they came from the trenches, right? No training. Why an estimate is required to create a budget? You cannot manage a project without a budget. How do I know I'm on track for labor materials? You can't manage a project without having a budget. How contractor success is impacted by competition, labor, management skills, risks. We talked about this one. Constant change in the electrical industry. If you are a guy who hates the guts of books and you don't care about continuing education and you're dragging your feet, you will not make a good, successful electrical contractor. You will be a good contractor, but not a successful contractor or electrician. Gentlemen, ladies, that's all I have. Break 5 minutes. Questions? It's Friday. Come on, guys. Come on, Mr. Rebecca, come up with something. Kids are not letting you sleep, Mr. Rebecca. I have to take
record too.
hit record. Okay, now we talked about estimating. I hope some of you guys, as we go over these chapters, is asking themselves, is this science for me or not? Is this field of being a project manager an estimator for me or not? Can I manage a project? Can I, of course, we all want to be a project manager making $150,000 or $200,000, of course, right?
Is that how much they make?
You make more than that?
Huh?
You make more
No,
than
I don't
that?
think they
Listen.
make that much.
Oh, they don't make 100? 120, 150?
A project manager?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they make that much.
Depends on the project you manage. I know if you own a business, at least you make a small business 150. You're the project manager owner, 150,
Well, if you're a
$200,000.
project manager owner, but if you just like project manager for just like hunt or something.
I guarantee you that some of them are making six figures.
Well, then they're making
Project
money.
manager salary.
Some of them maybe not. Okay, estimating.
Some of them, yeah.
Estimating. A couple of things, guys, about estimating here. I want to discuss so you can ask yourself, is this for me or not? Quality of a good estimator. As we go brooks, I want you to a checklist next to each one of them. See, is this me? Can I be that person if I want to be a project manager, estimator? What's the quality of a good, not a mediocre one, a good one? The duties and responsibilities of electrical estimator. What's your duties and responsibilities? How to properly set up the estimating workspace and the tools that you need, the workspace and the tools. Some of them kind of come in, and the machines common sense, like having a chair and not sitting on the back of your truck. This one is really cool, guys. I want to estimating methods. We'll talk about the estimating methods. What accurate estimate must include to make your estimate accurate? What are the estimating methods? How many methods do we have? What are they? How can your estimate be accurate? Accurate estimate can be and advantage and disadvantage, disadvantage of manual estimating, computer estimating, and estimating service. What are the advantages and disadvantages of these methods of estimating or ways of estimating? So that's what hopefully we're gonna learn. Questions? No? Quality of a good estimators. Let's list them here. Willingness to learn. DJ, are you? Questionable? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding about it. We're recording here. Willingness to learn, guys. Always, always. Willingness to learn. Today's you there. A good knowledge of construction and the ability to visualize electrical requirements. You can't believe it. When we start doing estimating now, a lot of people miss the third dimension. When you guys are looking at 2 dimensions and you're estimating the project and you're going between a switch and a light, you have to understand to go from a switch in a wall to a light in the ceiling. What do you need to do? Third dimension. You need to move to visualizing 3D visualization of the construction industry. To be a good estimator, not mediocre, not half banana, a good estimator, you have to be able to visualize good knowledge of the electrical construction and ability to visualize electrical requirement. Ability. Spencer, does that make sense? Visualize, know where you're going in 3Ds, not just in 2Ds. Construction. Do you think drilling a hole in this block is as easy as drilling a hole in a concrete wall? Of course it's different. Had this been a sheetrock wall, mounting a sheetrock wall that's mounting a receptacle on a sheetrock wall is different than mounting a receptacle in a concrete wall or a block wall, right? Completely different. Fishing a wire through these walls is completely different than fishing the wire through a sheetrock wall. If you don't know that, if you don't have a basic understanding of building construction, which you will gain as you go through or by living, I guess, it's really hard. You know, the hardest thing is, I tell you from personal experience when I moved to Minnesota, guys, because we don't use residential. When I was doing residential, the building that we do in Jerusalem is concrete. So everything is concrete and blocks. So I was very used to wiring concrete and blocks and pipes and ENTs and all that stuff. All of a sudden, sheetrock wall, and I wasn't really sure what's behind the sheetrock wall, and I wasn't really aware of the construction that we use in Minnesota. But you educate yourself, you know that behind the sheetrock wall is most likely open, right? If it's in insulation, if it's an outside wall, if it's an inside wall, no insulation, right? Now you have to understand that one. So you fish a wire, hopefully you can reach from point A to point B, hopefully. That's a construction knowledge. Look at this, orderly mind and tendency to be careful, accurate, and neat. Anybody can raise their hands to that they have this, guys? Yep, Bill is saying right there, no, he doesn't have it. Okay, orderly mind. DJ, do you have an orderly mind? I think you do. No, you do, most of the time. Tendency to be careful, accurate, and neat. Careful, accurate, and neat. Accurate, guys. I add my sense to accurate. Accurate is different than being perfectionist. Accurate is one thing, and being perfectionist is a complete different thing. At one time, Holly, you have to if you have a piece of equipment, you're going to estimate and you have no idea where to get the information at one time, you can't get stuck. You're going to give it a shot and say it's going to be $200 because it looks physically, mechanically like another piece of equipment that I've seen. That's the best I can get within these circumstances, within that time. So you have, at one time, you have to make a decision. Okay, open mind, willingness to change and take advantage of new product. Open mind, guys, and new technology is coming. You have to be open mind to be able to use it and utilize it. Advantage of the product and the technology. You don't want to be stuck. We talked about advantage of technology here. That's advantage of technology as a project manager. This is technology, can save you time. They're asking you, sitting right there, they're asking you about what conduit size do I need for these feeders. Couple of clicks, and instead of let's go run back to the find this one and do you guys have a calculator? Do you have a pencil and pen? And let me just calculate it. Take advantage of technology, regardless of what you think. Take advantage of technology. That little deal here, guys. Take advantage of technology. I taught at night, guys. I taught basic electricity. There was a guy, a not so young guy, Chad's age, in my class, and we were talking about identifying resistors. He had an iPhone. On his iPhone, I know how many of you have an iPhone. In his iPhone, he has a little app for identifying resistors. It's a simple thing. Identifying resistor on iPhone. So when I was teaching him about iPhone, he was solving the problem in his iPhone. Take advantage of technology. Not by playing games. That's not advantage of technology, I'm sorry. That's not, take advantage of technology. There's a lot of apps in our industry that could help you a lot. I'm not saying, I'm not against playing games, but.
What if it's Doom? Just kidding.
Okay, this is for you, DJ. Decisiveness and the ability to make a decision and not be intimidated by details. Big deal. I have one of my professors at college used to say, guys, making the wrong decision is better than not making a decision. No question asked. Making the wrong decision is better than not making a decision. You're sitting right there. Electricians are looking at you, and you have to decide to make a decision. Are we going to pull 400 amp feeder or 200 amp feeder or 300 amp feeder? And you're sitting, and everybody's looking at you, and what are you going to do? And you're holding a whole crew sitting behind you, waiting for your decision. What are you going to do, Spencer? You're going to sit and say, oh, can I? Yep, that's one thing. Oh, I don't know. Decisiveness. You're going to look him in the eye and say, it's 200, move it. And if it was wrong, I carry the responsibility. Okay, so decisiveness, guys, ability to make a decision and not being intimidated by details. DJ, you see all these people looking at you and you start crying. Your grandma's not there, you can't cry. So not being intimidated by detail is a big deal. You look at the big picture as a project. Remember, you guys don't have to be this. These are the traits that you need really to be a good project manager. Not any project manager, a good project manager. Fairness, honesty, and integrity. Are you honest? Okay. Fair.
Are you lying?
Integrity. Do you have integrity? Is your word your word? I mean, integrity is a big deal, guys. You develop a reputation in the industry. In the state of Minnesota, guys, the ones who are working, it's a small electrical industry. You're going to see the same electrical contractors in seminars and everywhere. If you are known, Brad, sorry, I'm going to pick on you today, as a jerk, nobody will do business with you. Really, I'm not you, but if somebody is known as a jerk, and every time you put them in a project, all other disciplines are so mad at them, he cannot talk and negotiate and come up to a solution with other disciplines, not just electrical, other disciplines. Electricians hate this project manager. He never walks in and smiles. He never, I mean, seriously, there's some jerks around here. So you don't want to be integrity. You don't have integrity. You lie. You don't say the truth. You know, so these are very, very big deal. Knowledge of the electrical codes and ability to make blueprints. You would hope as a project manager, a lot of project managers, guys, will say, I'm not an electrician. Should I know? I don't need to know. Are you kidding me? You're managing a project and you don't know the Bible? It's like being a priest in a church, Catholic church, and you don't know the Bible. You've never read the Bible. Can that happen?
It does.
Well, We're gonna stop right there.
That's some iffy territory. That's worse than the union crap.
And the ability to read blueprints. As a project manager, I would hope for Pete's sake, you know what a receptacle looks like on a blueprint, right? Say, well, I don't know drafting. I don't care about drafting. Well, I hope you care about reading the drafting at least, if you don't do it. Patience. Patience, DJ. Don't start crying. Patience. You must be able to finish the estimate without start effing everyone, cursing grandmas, throwing rocks, or worse than that, 2x4s and chasing the electricians. You know, so that. And we're laughing about this, guys, but let me tell you a real story. I'm not going to say names. One of my students here from Dunwoody 3 years ago, he went to work. He worked for an electrical contractor. I'm not going to mention names. Came back to me. He quit. He quit. Great job as a project manager. He quit. He said, Chad, I cannot. I'm not patient. I see a lot of things that I can't change them, and I can't sit about them. And making so many enemies around with different disciplines. And number two, he's intimidated by details. Everybody's looking at me, all the electricians, and you know, electricians, with all the respect, they can make your life miserable. They can make your life miserable. Literally, they will come to you, your project manager, Brad, okay, what type of a strap do I need for this type of conduit? Can you order me one? Well, I'm not familiar with the material, right? So if you don't develop, guys, a good relationship with people, they start just creating problems for the heck of creating problems for you. It really is. So that's what happened to this project manager. He just, the crews didn't like him, the foreman didn't like him, the other discipline didn't like him. So he quit. He said, Chad, quit. I can't do it. So he came, you know, to try to help him find another career for him. Project manager was not his cup of tea. Was not his cup of tea. He said, I don't sleep. Like weekends, Monday morning, Chad, I stay awake until 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm so scared of Monday morning. Because all problems happen on Monday morning when they go to the site. So these are big deal, guys. It really is. You have to be patient, laugh all the time. People like you. Big deal when you're in management. Look at DJ, for example. Procedures, the ability to follow them, follow procedures. You would hope for Pete's sake that as a project manager, you know how to follow procedures, right? In terms of ordering, in terms of managing the projects, in terms of, I have a chandelier, and that chandelier has never been blazed, right? And I want to put it in this building, and I want to save some time. So as a project manager, I look at the construction site and follow procedure, help the electricians, whoever, follow procedure step by step. So that's a big deal for us. So these are, you can check yourself, guys. If for this checklist, if you have them, you will be a good manager. Otherwise, you will be a manager, an estimator, but you might not be that good, because there's a room for all of us, guys. You know, no child left behind. DJ, everybody has a room in us.
I'll be coming back like the person's guy one day.
Okay, moving. Any question about the traits of a good estimator? And I emphasize the word "a good," guys. Any one of us can be an estimator, but being a good one who make money for the company and make everybody happy and do a quality work, that's a whole different story.
So are we just learning the base estimating skills? The project management isn't part of this right now, is it?
It will be.
Oh, it's part of this.
Yep.
Oh,
Absolutely. That's a different story.
an outline or something.
Yes. Okay, basic principles remain. Generally, the duties. Let's talk about the duties of electrical estimators based on this book. You can agree or disagree with them, guys. Determining the cost of the job. We all agree with that. If you're an estimator, you cannot determine the cost of the job, $5 million, right? Now, what type of an estimator are you? That's one of your duties, the cost. Number two, purchasing material. You could be, as a lot of companies, guys, have a project manager / estimator do everything, the estimating, purchasing, and managing the project. So purchasing the material, but who's better than the estimator to purchase the material? Seriously, when you guys do it, when we do estimating, you're going to know every single thing of the project, every single thing. So there's nobody better than you to do that. Ensuring the bid accuracy. Do you think I want to depend on Eric, my friend? I like him dearly, but when he comes with $2.5 million project as part of my estimating team and bring it to me as an estimator, lead estimator, or project manager, Don't you think I have to ensure bid accuracy, find mechanism of checking if his work is right or wrong without Brad retaking the whole project, without doing everything over and over and over again? Because the reason why you hire people so they can do the job, so they can free you. You don't have another 16 hours to take off for the whole project. You have to have mechanism. Easy, like square foot is a very good point. Percentage of labor and material and profit and overhead percentage of the overall price of the project. That's a very easy, good ways of looking at the project as a project manager. Hospitals, how much a hospital costs in the state of Minnesota to build it, data versus the state of Mississippi, if it's Mississippi. If you have these, if you collected all these data, build these historic data, now you have things that you can compare with, you know. So these, if you every time you finish a project, you throw all your information about project, it's done, thanks God it's done. You don't keep anything about your project, any data that you can compare with, you're not going to be a good project estimator, guaranteed. Project management tracking. Second thing is managing the project, labor and material, and keep track of it. Every week, like you said, you guys are costing me $5,000 a week to be in this. So if you charge $6,000 a week by week, I need to know that so I can push you harder, a little bit harder, change something, see what's going on, or at least question you. Why is it taking you longer than what we think it should take you? Maybe there is some obstacles. Maybe it's real obstacles that we're facing.
Do we use software for that, like QuickBooks or?
This one we have I have an Excel sheet with this one already built that you're going to be using for this one. You like softwares, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, and so these are, guys, the things that an estimator can do. Estimating workspace and tools. Now you're going to laugh a little bit about these. Need estimating work tools. Must be efficient. The workspace. Let's go back. So we list a couple of things. Estimate your first job. You need proper workspace and tools. Oh, duh. But a couple of things. The workspace must be efficient. If you're doing a $2 million job takeoff, guys, you would hope you don't do it in the back of your truck. Well illuminated, so DJ and Holly can see what they're doing. Located so that no DJ is around you. Disturb, you know, right? You're gonna put it in an area. You don't want to be an estimator guy sitting right next to the the door that walks in. Everybody walks in, and you taking a takeoff, and you're counting 1, 2, 3, and then somebody will walk in and good morning, DJ, and all this good stuff. And then where was I? Was I at 9 again? That's why they have these flickers. So you want to have a place, guys, and we're not going to be disturbed. Why all this, guys? Because if mistakes, we're human beings, we're mistakes. A lot of people, guys, estimators, when they're taking off the project, they'll sit in a quiet place, especially major projects. When, as I count, I don't want even my phone. You put your silence your phone, and you get yourself in a really nice place. And again, DJ, we're not talking about $200 jobs and $4,000 jobs. You can bid it from the back of your car. We're talking about $2 million, $3 million, $1 million jobs, guys. You need to be concentrate, focused, not intimidated by details. I will help you do what a man can do, but what God can do is up to God with you, DJ.
It's like, I don't want to be one now. What if you have ADD?
You put yourself that way. Intimidated by details, organized mind. Okay, good estimating tools cut down on the human error, increase efficiency, and pay for themselves. And I'm not going to tell you guys, like for example, as an estimator, you're sitting and you're doing takeoff and you see something on the plans. By the way, when you do takeoff, your company is liable for all the blueprints. You see something that doesn't make sense, like for example, putting three conductors 700 kcm in 3/4 of an inch. Did somebody do it here? 3/4 of an inch. So putting that one in 3/4 of an inch, and you look at something like this, and you really want to check your work if you don't know it. So a calculator like this will be very handy. Couple of clicks, bam, I think they made a mistake. Or you call the engineer or you call the designer before you go take it off. Maybe you can help your company. Okay, moving on, guys. Here's the things that you need to know, and I'm not gonna read through this. The following items, you have bookcases. These are coming, and I know, Brad, you laughed about these, but you know what I like about them? It's a checklist. If I want to be a good estimator in a project of Parson Electric or Hunter Egan, the first thing I will do, I have an adding machine, a calculator, adding machine, or a calculator. Well, chair without this, I hope for Pete's sake I have a chair. Colored pens and pencils. If you're not doing estimating, if you're doing estimating by hand, meaning you're not sucking the info directly from the CAD, there are software that take info from CAD directly into estimating software. If you don't have, you need to color. Color, guys, is a big deal. How many of you guys believe in colors, coloring things, right? Coloring things is a big deal. You know, we're human beings. Color, for my personal agenda, green is color of my family. Anything on my agenda, green. Every time I just look at it, I know dentist for my kids. Big deal for me. And when you color, guys, if you put green as your service, every time you see a green color scheme, that's a service. So, and stick with one color code. Don't change it from one project to another. That's a big deal. Computer, for Pete's sake, I have software, estimating software, or Excel. And you can guess internet. The worst thing that could happen to you if you're doing estimating, you don't have access to the internet. Why? There's a piece of equipment, it's not there. The first thing you would do, Spencer, what do? Google it. Google it. Google this material. Email somebody about it. Spreadsheet, street maps, copy machines, computer task, and whiteboard or chalkboard. Scratch. Smartboard if you're done with it. So these are a couple of things, and you guys can read through them. Drafting table, erasers. You would hope a lot of them are common sense. Proposals, worksheets, and proposals. These are very good forms. You have to have these forms. We're going over them later, guys. Personal information manager, phone and answering machines, plan racks, scale, stapler. You'd hope you have a stapler here, right? So use this one, Jim, my friend, as a project manager, as a checklist. Do I have this one? And you decide if you need it or not. I think most of the stuff here is common sense. Common sense. You can't believe there's an engineering firm in town right now, guys. A major engineering firm. They do not give an email for their engineers. Their philosophy is not to give a personal email for the engineers. Have they entered the 21st century? As an engineer, sitting design engineer, you don't have access to the internet and you don't have a personal email where I can contact you direct. You have to have an account for the whole company and then dissipate that. So you have to go get your email from, just read in one computer, you go sit and read all the emails. Can you believe that in the 21st century?
It's a big,
A big firm.
really.
And their engineers are using Yahoo emails. Yahoo emails.
What?
Yeah, to have their own. Types of bids. Let's talk about types of bids. Here's the types of bids, and you can sit and argue here. Competitive bid. DJ, what's your brother's company?
Provo Electric.
Provo Electric, CA Electric, Hunt Electric. They go bid openly against a bid. These are mostly with the government building, and any money has to do with government, state, federal. Competitive bid because of fairness. You have to be fair for everybody else. We compete against there. They have a bid opening day. They open the bid in front of everybody, so we don't cheat. Now, I don't hire you because you're married to my sister, or so. No favoritism. So everybody opened the bid, and you got the job because you were the lowest bid. Add to this. Add what the engineers add to this, guys. Qualified bidders. A lot of jobs, even if they're government jobs, they don't want an average Joe who has no idea how to bid on a gas station go bid on a gas station. So they have to qualify to bid on certain jobs. And qualification mainly, have you done this type of job or you're just a wannabe? They don't want a wannabe in this market. Design bid, guys, architects, Hunt and Parson, Egan do it all the time. You can make good money out of it. You have your design group in-house. You have your construction in-house. The architects, the developer, the owner can contract you direct. Say, we want you as a partner in this design build project. So you come sit around the table, no bidding, nothing. We chose you based on your reputation and because we like you. I hope it's not because you're married to my grandma. So because of all this, we're going to get you and to be partner in this project, guys. And we've done a lot of, because of reputation, a lot of engineering contractor firms get that one. So you get the job, you design it, you build it, you negotiate the salary between them. No bidding. Negotiated work, so that's design, they pick you. Negotiated work, you meet with certain people and they negotiate how much do you want to design this project or build it. Negotiated. So a couple of developers or architects will interview 4 or 5 contractors, interview them because of reputation in town, and they sit and negotiation. Most negotiation, guys, doesn't happen in government building because I'm a private contractor. I want to hire you, but I don't like you. I'm not going to hire you. It's up to me, right? As long as there's fairness. But if it's a government job, most of the time you're right here, competitive. But private jobs, I like parcel nectar for Hunter Egan or whatever, and I want to they build great hospitals for me, and I want to hire X or Y, and negotiate with them and find a price. You guys will build it. You build a few of them. Can we build it within 2 millions? The customer is cheap, not cheap. He can't afford it. Can we cut it down a little bit? What can we do to cut it down? Come up with a price. We're gonna build it with parcel with $5 million. Get to go and we start working on it. So these are a few things, and the last one is what DJ does. If all hell break loose and we can time and material. Time and material, guys, you start working. We have time and material usually for remodeling. You don't build a hospital from scratch, time and material. But if you're remodeling a floor and you have no idea when you bust these walls, what's going to be behind these walls, say, why don't you guys send a crew and we'll keep track of your time and material, we'll bill you. So you agree on time and material. I want to charge you $53 per hour plus material. And to keep track of your time and material, there has to be a trust on that one.
Do you set us up with contracts and stuff like that at all? Or?
Yes, give you a contract and how to, yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like a plus, if you get into extra things.
Yes, yes.
You know?
So, yep, time and material. The last one, guys, is unit price. Time and material, everybody knows time and material. Unit price is, a good example come to my mind, Spencer, is changing service. You're going to go from 50, I'm going to change a 60 amp fuse into 100 amp circuit breaker panel.
There's a guy that's doing it for $600,
Yeah.
updating all the GFIs and everything in the house, pulling the house to code.
If you change, if you change it, well,
you have to update it.
if you change it, no. If you're not update, the only thing you need to update actually, if 2008, you don't have to do anything. Most of this, you don't have to change anything other than fuses, circuit breakers. But 2011, guys, you will have to do right now in 2011. You have to change every circuit breaker to arc circuit breaker wherever is needed, and GFCI wherever is needed. So that's going to be.
Always call you on that stuff. Whenever you do a service change, you gotta always go in and put GFIs in the kitchens and bathrooms.
When you change a service,
Yeah.
again, the contractor depends on the inspector. We've done.
Always call that.
Is that, your 60 amp to 100 amp service changeover, there's no way you can do it anymore because utilities requiring bypass meter socket. You can't cut that, you can't
Right.
cut that meter
Right?
with, unless you're doing it illegally, which, no
Yeah.
one's did before.
Yeah, that's illegal.
And just popping that and then running your new wires.
Yeah, you
plugging
can't
in
do-
a pipe. You cannot pop that meter socket. If you pop that meter socket, you have to put a bypass meter socket.
Yeah, you have to meter.
You have to buy the 200 amp.
Yeah.
The
Well,
200
you don't
amp.
have to be a 200 amp panel put in,
Yeah.
but you have to put a.
No, you have to put a 200 amp certain milling on that too. It's 202 the meter.
200 amp meter.
With the disconnect on it.
Which comes with a disconnect. Yeah.
You have-
Regardless of the price, guys. Regardless of the price. See if you want to change this one, and I'm going to do this one for $600. I'm not saying it's you do it. But I'm saying this will be a unit price. That's called unit price. Every time I change it, Spencer, every time I have a service like this, slam $2,000, $4,000, regardless of the amount. But that's a unit price. Another unit price, you're a developer, and you're going to develop, say, a 4,000 square foot standalone dwelling units in the city of Anoka, okay? And there's 35 of them. And each one of them, they want to bid it as a unit price. Each one of them is going to cost me $15,000. $15,000 electrically to do the unit. So you tell them a unit price for every one of these homes, it's going to cost you $15,000. You bid them based as a unit price. Does that make sense? Unit price, everything, including labor, material, lump sum. Mr. Boo, you, anything?
No,
About that one?
I was just mentioning about your 60.
The 1600, yeah.
You know, it's just something that's, coming up because
You can't do
you
it.
can't do it. You
Yeah.
cannot do a $600
Legally.
job legally.
Yeah.
It's not possible. If you do, you'll make about $10 with
Yeah.
after material.
Yeah, by the time you put a mast on it, a meter socket,
You will have that material.
What's the, how much is a meter? The socket like
The
meter?
meter
like
socket is about
125.
How much?
Socket's $200.
Oh,
200.
is that what they are?
$200. The panel you can buy them $100. Or go. $100.
Wire, mass, ground rod,
While so
Ground.
say $500. Can I say $500 for material?
right around there.
600 because here's $600.
Yeah, 600 with
600
gas.
with everything, cable, everything, right?
Yep.
You still have $1,000, right? Divide this by, it will really take, if you put the mast, probably eight hours for a man, one man. Guarantee you can do with the mast. Divide this by 8 hours, what would you get?
It's,
Come on, guys. Where's calculator? Am I gonna supposed to be a calculator here too?
$1.25.
How much?
125.
$125 an hour. Is that good? As a one-man shop?
But that's material.
That's,
Minus material.
yeah, we're
You're at 1,600.
yeah, 1600.
No,
That's just,
Oh, see, yeah, right, yeah.
that's just bring home. What's wrong with that? Where do you guys work?
You're saying 600 though.
Oh, the 600
Yeah,
thing.
that's 600.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. That
It needs
600
to die.
definitely did not change that. Definitely there was no changing of that one. Yeah.
Pop this
Yeah.
meter and just.
Definitely, yeah, definitely did not change that.
Yeah.
The
We get
service.
that guy.
Okay, what is an accurate estimate must include? Let's look at the accurate. Labor cost including burden. What's the burden and fringes? Benefits. An accurate estimate, guys, you have to have a burden and the labor cost and the benefits, not just the labor cost. So if you are, I'm paying you as an electrician, bring home $28. Bring home $28 non-typical, non-journeyman electrician. And if you give them 20% benefits over there, 20% benefits. What's 20%? What's 1.2 times 28? 1.2 times 28. Come on, guys. What the? Go ahead. How much? $33.6. That's how much you cost me. When I want to bid your job times this by 2, that'll give me what? 60, say 62, 68, something. Very cheap. This is mostly for residential, one-man shop. One-man shop. You know, if you are an electrician, 53 times it by, that's including, this package is included, all the benefits included. With the 53 times it by 2, I'm bidding you now for $106. So benefits. Material cost including fixtures and switch gears. Big deal, guys. Material cost including fixture. What do you think a fixture and switch gear were singled out? Fixtures, I can buy you $100 fixture or $5 fixture to put in your house or in your building. So these lights can go from $88 all the way. You can buy them to $200-300. So we have to agree on the fixtures separate. Switch gears mainly the major panels, guys. I can buy a switch gear, a fused switch gear for $200,000 or one non-switch draw-out circuit breaker that's $500,000. So we have to agree on the type that's going to
What
be.
was the 28? What was that? 28 plus 20?
Bring home.
What is that supposed to be?
Yeah, $28 bring home for electrician.
Oh, yeah.
Journeyman. When you say electrician, journeyman. Plus 20% benefits.
Oh, equals 33.
Yeah, $33.
And then times 2 because you got to double.
To bid it. You want to bid it, you double it. Rule of thumb.
68.
68. You can bid on that. That's based on this rate.
What's the 53 then?
The 53, if you are, this is non-union.
Oh, okay.
If you're a union electrician, 53 times it by 2 because the benefits here is already included, guys. The benefit is already included. Make sense? Subcontracted and rental expenses. If you subtract anything, you have to add it there. Anything you rent, you have to add it there. Direct job expenses, like what? Direct, if you want to buy the prints from the electrical engineers, you have to pay for them. How about the permits? You have to buy permits. How about parking permits? If you want to park in downtown Minneapolis to work, all these going to add them. How about overhead? You have a bunch of guys and gals sitting in the office. You have to accommodate for them.
Is the gas and insurance and all they get cleared in overhead?
Yes, somehow for the company. Yep,
And phone, cell
everything.
phones.
So determine the bid price, always include at the end, why are we in business? To make profit, including
Make
some money.
friends.
Oh, speaking of this, I was in a meeting and the electrical contractor saying, Chad, we're busy making friends, not making money these days. Making friends, what did we say about relationship? Relationship, relationship, relationship. Improper, based on Uncle Mike, improper estimating methods, ignoring the specification. Spencer, big, fat, thick specification, I'm not going to look at them. I don't have time to do that. You know what electrical contractors do, guys, with this big specification? They have them electronically, like for the Corps of Engineers that comes with them, and they run search. In Word documents, they run search electrical, the word electrical. So they search about where, now we're talking about spec, not just electrical spec, the whole project spec, mechanical, environmental, structural. They search about anything electrical, a motor, a damper, and all these things that they need to know what more details about them instead of reading through a million page. They search about certain electrical words, and of course, when you search in Word, it pops up, you go read about it. If it's related to your project, no, jump to the second one. It expedites the process. Ignoring the specification, not a good idea. Meeting the lowest bid, every time you go for 200, I'm going to go 150. Then you go to 100, I'm going to go to 50 now. And then at one time, we're going to go down the drain, you and I. Shot in the dark, walk in and say, well, $2 million. Okay, a lot of guys, a lot of contractors that do this because they don't want to get the job. When you talk to them, they walk and they're busy and they don't want the job, and an owner comes to them and how much it's going to cost me, and they're really, really busy. They don't, nobody will do it this now. It's going to be $3 million, knowing that's way, way too much, and they will never accept it. If they accept it, we'll make a lot of profit, and if they don't accept it, who cares? I mean, shot in the dark. But that's not a good way of doing it. Square foot method, ballpark price. You can argue with this, guys. The square foot method, you can argue with it. It's a good testing, but it's not a good, not a good estimating method. It's a good testing method. You check your accuracy. So if I'm going to tell you $13 per square foot for commercial building. Commercial building. So if my commercial building has 50K square foot, multiply that 50K by 13, and that's how much it's going to cost you labor and material and profit, everything. That's scary if you don't know what you're doing when you come. The only reason a lot of people use it, guys, the only way you can be accurate with this method is if you have historic data that you can back. If you build 15 trillion commercial building, office building, and this is your 10th, and you collected the data, and every time you do it, labor and material in the state of Minnesota, in Minneapolis, downtown, look how you go directly to geography, because if you build downtown, it's going to be completely different, guys, if you build in the suburbs in terms of access and all this good stuff.
Would you like, I mean, like bidding a McDonald's or something, where you do the exact same thing? Is that
Yeah,
what
that's a
you're
very
saying?
good. That's a very good point. Yep, building a McDonald's or building things that's exactly the same, but you have to factor in
Cities.
where.
Yeah.
Building a building in the Mississippi state, if you go nationwide, the labor is cheaper than building in Minnesota. We're a high labor state, so we're going to factor that in too.
What's the going rate for square footage on residential? It's an easy way to do it.
After, yeah, give me after 10:30, half an hour or so. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just, because it's an easy way to do it, because you don't, like, if you go
Yeah.
to the house, you do not include any light fixture and, or appliances or anything like that, it's just strictly the outlets.
Outlets.
So.
Yeah,
square
10 bucks
footage
an
wise,
opening.
it's really not-
Till they go by
Yeah, for something
opening.
smaller.
I go
10
for
opening.
too, but on
10
some
opening.
people end up
Yeah.
doing square footage, and it's-
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, I know, like, I think they're getting like 20.
With the changes with
21 an opening, something like that.
10, some guys are done.
10, 20, I don't know, typical, what is it? What's a typical house? Are you talking about house? Huh?
2000.
2,000 typical house, 2,000 square foot.
That's the number.
We add another one. I would think with just typical, nothing fancy, typical stuff, you should be able to do it with $8 grand. How would that give you? 2,000 divided by 84. Everything. And that's on a good end too. How much does that give you? Square foot? 8,000 divided by 2. 2,000, that would give you, I should know that. 8K divided by 2. No, K would go with K, that will give me 4. Is it 4? $4? $4 per $4 per square foot. So $4 per square foot. That's you can, but you in residential, I can't even put a number on it because you'll find anybody who go even lower than that.
Oh, sure.
You know, guys, for residential, all what you have to do is just buy the material and give yourself as an electrician. If I want to make $28 as an electrician, and then bid it for $20, there's no way you can compete with me. You know, so that's an upper end even. Okay, moving on, my friends. We got that one. Proper estimating methods. Here's the proper estimating methods: time and material, unit price, detailed methods, and not estimating service. So let me just go back again. Time and material, we talked about this one, guys. Keep track of your time and material. Unit price, we talked about this. The service, change service, detailed, step-by-step detailed information. 6 steps of an estimating and 3 steps of bid process. I will leave this for next week. I see you, it's Friday. Or do you guys want me to go? I need at least half an hour. Are you willing to sit for half an hour, or shall we do it next week? Next week? I see it's over information overload. No?
Need burrito.
Do you want to sit? I need half an
I was
hour. I
kidding.
don't want to do it. And
Your call.
Field trip summary.
Said it, blew it.
not for you. Okay, I'm gonna quit here, guys. Page 14, 208, and then we'll recoup next week.
Well done.
We're done for now.